So today we are bringing you the journey of a young cricketer who is not just playing the game but dreaming of wearing the India jersey. We have with us Miss Nandita, a passionate and determined cricketer who is playing at the state level and chasing a dream of representing India one day. A journey is not just about cricket but about overcoming challenges, staying consistent and believing in herself. She is also a dedicated member of our Profluent Inside community where she is working on becoming a confident communicator and an effective orator too. So let's dive into her inspiring journey and the lessons she has to share. So let's call Nandita on stage. Welcome, Nandita. How are you?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me in your podcast. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine too. I'm fine too. So, Nandita, we are going to have some wonderful conversation, I'm sure, and you have a lot of stories to share with us, with our viewers, of course, that will inspire them. And it's really pleasure to have somebody actually who's a professional cricketer. And I understand like how this particular profession among women is evolving in India.
Yes, sir.
I think we are at the cusp of a revolution as far as Indian women cricket is concerned.
Yes, sir.
So just start with can you tell us, our viewers, where do you belong to and where do you live? Where do you reside currently?
I'm originally from Jalpaiguri, West Bengal, but I've been living in Pune from last 5 years for my cricketing career.
Oh, that's great. Can you tell us about your cricketing journey? How did it start and how did you become a professional cricketer?
So it all started from my childhood. So as a kid, I used to play cricket. So it has always been my hobby, playing cricket.
Okay.
And after my school, I used to get 2 hours where I used to play cricket. So one day I meet this guy. His name is Nasir, my very dearest friend. So I'll tell you an interesting story.
Oh, yeah.
So how I started playing cricket? Basically, I started playing cricket with my brothers, like with my cousins.
Acha.
So yeah, basically gully cricket.
Oh,
So after school, all the kids play gully cricket, right? So that's how even I used to play cricket. But yeah, one day I meet Nasir. So every Sunday, there were like matches which used to be against all the colonies.
boys were there or they were girls also?
Only boys. I was the only girl. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
was the only
Yeah.
girl. So when I met Nasir, his game really caught my eyes, and I approached him to play with me, and that's how I started playing cricket. And he was the one who inspired me a lot, to be honest. I still remember he said that, Nandita, you can play well, you can be a Indian cricketer. It was like the time was very beautiful. Like I still I mean
How old were you, Nandita? I would like to ask you, how old were you at that time?
I was 12, no, 10 years old. Yeah,
You were only 10
10
year
years.
old. But let me
Mm.
tell you, Nandita, like I have also played gully cricket a lot. I played cricket a lot actually in my childhood. I also aspired to play cricket seriously one day. But as you grow up, maybe that fades out the interest in this particular field, especially cricket or any other sports. And then we get into studies and all that. But when did you think that yes, you have something in you and you should take cricket seriously and you can do something in this particular profession? When did it happen?
So basically, till class 5, I studied in my hometown school. And later, I was shifted to a different school, which is in a different location. So I used to stay in a hostel, I mean, the school hostel over there. And that school was quite different from the previous school. As in, that school was, the sports was taken seriously,
Okay.
the academics and everything was taken seriously.
Mhm.
So we had to choose like one particular sport in games period. So definitely, I'm going to choose cricket, right? So I chose cricket. And within like 15 days there was like a match,
Okay.
girls tournament, yeah.
Okay.
And around that time, I don't remember the year, but quite a long time back, yeah.
Okay.
So that time girls don't used to play cricket,
Yeah.
not much,
Yeah.
not much of the girls,
Right.
right? Yeah. So in school it's very rare to find girls I mean a woman's team. So okay, there was this tournament going on, so all the seniors participated in that. So I was the only child, I mean, only kid from class 6 who participated in, like in that
Okay. Tournament.
tournament. Yeah.
Okay.
So nobody was interested in me. I mean, like, she's a kid. So yeah. So one day what happened, like there was this match going on and I was standing in the mid off.
Okay.
I mean, I was fielding. So a catch comes and then a catch comes to mid on.
Okay.
So it was quite of a difficult
Huh.
catch.
Huh.
And I went and I,
Grabbed
did
it.
that catch.
Right.
Grabbed it, yeah. So everyone got impressed. I was like, who is this kid? So even my coach was like, okay, get this girl in the team.
Okay.
And earlier I never used to get bat.
Oh.
Used to get too bad. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. So it was always like go field and come back.
Oh, they never even asked you to bat.
No, because I'm the only child, right?
Right.
Like
They
I
were
was
they
very
were
young
they were
that
all
time.
women, but they were grown up. Like they were from class 11,
They
class
were grown
12.
up, yeah. Class 12,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Class 12, 11, yeah.
Right.
So after that day, I got the chance to bat. After a few days, I became favorite of all the seniors.
Okay.
That was the time I realized that, something is there in
Mm.
me. And I think there's a hidden talent that I'm blessed that I could figure out.
Right.
And in school, I started my cricket journey. Then after that, I became a day scholar after a year, I guess.
Okay.
And then I joined a club. So that's how my journey
Started.
commenced.
Oh, that's wonderful. But believe me, and I can vouch for it that in India, though it is evolving, I think now it is coming up. After that, we have won the World Cup and all that Indian women team. But don't you think that it comes with its own challenges, its own struggles in India? Actually, being a women cricketer. So, did you also face those challenges, struggles, and how did you cope with it?
Honestly, there are, like, if you talk about women's cricket and if you talk about sports in general,
Mm.
like women's sports,
Mm.
so it's quite a difficult thing.
Mm.
And not all parents they support their daughters, to pursue this career.
Right.
So for me, see, family was never a concern because my dad supported me a lot from the beginning.
Great.
But if I talk about the society, then definitely I had to listen to a lot of criticism. People would say that she's a girl, she can't play sports.
Mm.
And also, like, it's a very famous line, if you know that, it's a gentleman's game. Cricket is a
Cricket is a
gentleman's game.
gentleman's
Yeah.
game. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's not for girls.
Yes.
So yeah, I heard this a lot, but definitely that didn't stop me from playing cricket. And my family is my biggest strength. Like, they supported me a lot, and especially if I talk about the struggles,
Right.
then that is, I think, in the ground. Because when I started my journey, I still remember the first day in the club. I went and there were like 50 boys, and I was the only girl. So, of course, as a human being, you're gonna feel nervous, you're gonna feel awkward. I mean, playing with, all the boys. So, because we are not used to this thing, right? And also in India, there is this thing, gender, like, don't talk to boys or don't talk to girls.
Mm.
So, it's like sort of like that.
Mm. Mm.
I was not comfortable, I would say, but I had to do it for, cricket.
So,
And
like you met people who would tell directly to you also, like, or they will give some kind of gyan to you.
yeah, yes, there were a lot of people who, the guests who would come to your home. So, like, always, they will ask you that what is your goal, and if I say that uh, cricket, to be a cricketer is my goal, so everyone just wants to listen. All the relatives or all the guests, they want to listen that, okay, you want to be a doctor, you want to be
Ah,
engineer,
ah,
or something else.
ah.
But I was the one to say that I want to become a sports person, right? And I don't have a sports person background, so it was quite shocking for them.
Right, right.
I would like to say one more thing.
Mm.
I would like to add a one more thing.
Yeah.
That is the struggle I faced, and I still do face that. So there is a exercise
Mm.
where you need a partner, basically.
Okay.
So just being a only girl in the ground, no boys would come to you and like choose you, right?
Okay.
So you have to make a partner and you have to, like, hold the shoulder and do a exercise, basically.
Mm.
So that was like in the stretching part.
Mm.
So no boys would come, so you would I would take a support of a pillar or maybe coach shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah, so if some boys is coming and talking to me, maybe the other boys they are teasing him.
Oh.
So that's how it works.
Oh.
And the most difficult thing is, what happens in sports in India, I feel, that is the comparison
Mm.
between female cricketers with male cricketers.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm batting in nets,
Mm.
it never works like that. You're going as an individual and playing,
Mm.
because it's a team sport, right?
Mm.
So if there are seniors, juniors, doesn't matter. You just go and play with all the boys.
Right.
So in nets, you're facing, a male cricketer's ball. So there would be comments like, "Arey, ye to ladki hai.
Mm.
Dheere kar ball,
Mm.
lag jayegi. She
Oh.
will cry."
Acha, acha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
really
all of these
that
comments.
must be really very off-putting, I think. Very off-putting.
Yeah,
Somebody saying you this.
definitely.
And somebody saying you in front of you actually. So they that means they
Yeah.
take you lightly. They don't take you as a competitor.
It's not even about that, sir. It's about, they think it's a woman. That time they don't compare as a sports person. If you compare me as a sports person, okay, maybe I'm not a good cricketer, maybe I'm not a good sports person, that is completely okay. But when you say that it's a woman and she can't face, at the speed of 110 or 20, that's when it hurts. The competition is never, a female cricketer with a male cricketer. But I think what we deserve.
Hmm. Yes, we deserve. Absolutely. So, was there any point in your life when you thought of giving it up, and when you thought, no, I'm not going to, not because of this only, but because of maybe they can be different reasons. So, was there any point in your life when you thought, yes, enough is enough now. I'm not going to take either. I'm not going to take it lying down, or maybe I'm going to give it up. So, was there any time in your life?
Never.
No.
No, never.
Great.
I think nothing could stop me. Nothing can stop me.
Right.
And the passion I have for this sport, the love I have for this sport, nothing can stop.
Who is your favorite cricketer, by the way, Nandita?
I don't have any, particular specific favorite cricketer, but I really follow Dhoni. I like his mentality a lot.
Okay. I want to ask you something? Like, do you still feel that women in India still, and I'm talking about the grown-up women cricketers. I'm not talking about even club level. I'm talking about maybe the Indian team and all that. Do you think there is some kind of prejudice? There is some kind of partiality against them, and the kind of funds that they should have been given or they should be given, it is not given? Or do you think now? No, the boats are opening up. The government is now coming forward. Do you think something is happening for them and in sports generally?
Yes, definitely. I think that's very controversial, so I would like to keep it very short. But yeah, I mean, being a female cricketer, I definitely feel this, and I'm quite, hurt by this act. The way male cricketers get a lot of matches, a lot of tours, or if I talk about the fees or anything, be that anything. So that is slightly higher than, comparing to a female cricketer,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So, especially after the World Cup, like if I talk about, 1990s or 2001, 2. So, around that time, women's cricket had nothing, literally nothing. Jhulan Goswami, Mithali Raj, all these players they have contributed a lot without any intention, without getting paid. Definitely, I have a huge respect for these cricketers. After the World Cup, especially after this recent World Cup, women's cricket has changed a lot. It's also changing a lot. So there are more tours, there are more matches we are getting. So it's changing definitely on a good side.
We have now WPL as well, Women Cricket League. What is that called? Women Cricket League. We have like on
Yeah, I that's actually IPL only, but it's like women,
women's
so
side.
it's WPL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. But tell me, what are few of the habits, Nandita, that really helped you grow as a cricketer and that really helped you uh, overcome those challenges, those struggles that you faced?
I think sir, discipline is one of the most powerful habit in anyone's life. So that always kept me going. Just be disciplined, and the way we are taught as a sports person that never give up. There will be a lot of storms coming, but still don't give up.
Right.
And at the same time, if I add a discipline, so in total, it's like all these things really help me a lot.
And in sports, actually, injuries are the part and parcel of the game. And we see a lot of people. I've seen a lot of sports person actually. The other day, I was just thinking about this guy from Lucknow Giants, the Super Giants. They have Mohsin, who is a wonderful bowler, but he went through a very bad phase actually for 2 years almost. And when he came back, that he took a fifer in the last match, last to last match only. So he said actually that it was really a struggle right now. So when the commentator asked him that what is your focus, so he said right now my focus is only my body. That if I am fit, I know I can produce results. And he said, "Ki, yes, we also know that if you are fit, you can even play for India." So how difficult it is, especially for a sports person, to overcome such injuries, and do you think it is a part and parcel of the game?
It is definitely, sports. For a sports person, injury is like God is gifting you injuries. So it's a part of your game and your journey. And like if I talk about my career was going pretty well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you the same question actually. That have you also undergone some kind of this things, these injuries and all that, and how did you cope with it?
Yeah, so when I started my career, it was going pretty well. I played under 19, I played under 23, then seniors, was getting selected for seniors. And then I met a coach named Atul Gaikwad in 2000, I guess, 21. Yes, 2021. And right after a year in 2022, I shifted to Pune for my cricketing career and also for my coach. So first 6 months was pretty well. Like I was
Okay.
playing good. You know, I was introduced with the cricket in Maharashtra, so it's quite different from Calcutta. So I was pretty excited. So everything was going well, but my fitness level was pretty low. I mean, it was not
Okay.
developing for some reason. So this guy, he asked me to get a full body checkup done. So I went to a hospital. I did my full body checkup done. So when the consultation was going on, so you need to meet all type of all the categories basically, right? All categories of doctor because it's a
Hmm.
full body checkup. So
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
last it was the cardiologist. I went to his clinic. Then he said, sit down and, there is a concern basically. So I thought that maybe will be fixed with, medicines or it's a minor thing basically. But he said that you need to go through a surgery. Still, I was okay. I was like, okay, it must be a very minor surgery. So I didn't know the depth of an open heart surgery.
Oh, he said that you had to undergo an open heart surgery.
Yes, yes, I had holes in my heart. So it was inborn. It was inborn. So I never realized
And
that.
you never came to know of
No,
it.
no,
Your
no,
family also didn't know
no.
before you playing cricket. So it was only when you started playing cricket that your coach recommended you this, and then you went for the whole body checkup and you came to know.
I have been playing cricket from past 8 years, but in 2022, I came to know I got diagnosed basically with this problem of my heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So basically, like
Then.
what happens
Hmm.
in this thing that your endurance level, slowly slows down. So the thing is, yeah, I right after 1 month I got the surgery done and everything. So in the ICU, when I got back in my senses, that time I understood that what is the intensity of an open heart surgery.
It's a serious surgery. It's a
Yeah.
long surgery.
I didn't know about all of this. I thought that I'm gonna get better and get back to sports. So that was my main goal. I was not concerned about all this, but the pain was real.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
after that, while coming back to sport, within a year, I guess, yeah. So I came back to the ground after 2 years of my surgery, and then I started playing cricket. So still, like everything was going well, and suddenly I got a back injury. So till today, I am going through the rehab. It's been almost more than a year. The rehab is going on.
So, how does it impact you emotionally, mentally? Does it really impact you physically? I can understand. Really, it impacts you. It takes a very crucial years of your playing sports actually, and these are very crucial years. I understand that when you are just at the border and the verge of hitting something big, and then you come out with this surgery. So, do you think it really impacts you mentally as well, emotionally as well?
Yes, definitely. It does. I mean, I think more than physically, it's the mental game. When I came to know, I was broken. I was like, I didn't know what to do and where to go. Because see, as a domestic player, it's pretty hard to get you help from, good professionals. So nobody's gonna listen to you. Nobody's gonna. And in India, if I talk about uh India rehab centers for sports people are very weak. So initially it was okay
Mm.
for me because as a sports person, I'm ready to face injuries. And also this is my first injury, like after the surgery. So I was pretty much prepared. Okay, that I have 4 months in my hand. How do I get better? So that was my goal. So
Mm.
that was not the end.
Mm.
So it was the rehab was going on after 6 months. It was not getting better. I mean, the pain increased suddenly, and I don't know. I just felt like this rehab center is not gonna help me. So I did a MRI done by myself. There were people who said that it's gonna charge a lot. It's gonna be useless. Don't get a MRI done. It's a simple back injury. It will get fine. But I don't know. It was just my instinct that I was thinking maybe there is something wrong and I should get a MRI done. I got the MRI done, and out there a lot of factors came out. I mean, there was disc bulge, there was annular tear. So I was not preparing for this
Mm.
injury. So then after 6 months of injury, I came to know, I got diagnosed, like the root cause basically. So just think how would I feel mentally when I came to know about that thing, and when I consulted a lot of doctors. So it was just doctors after doctors, those few months. I was mentally very tired, very mentally tired. I didn't know how to deal with the situation.
So, how did you come out of it? Was there anything that really helped you come out of it? Because it was shocker after shocker that you're talking about the open heart surgery, then you're talking about your back injury, then you're talking about the new diagnosis. and then you're just coming out of it. Like, how did you cope with it, and how did you overcome it? What helped you?
Good question. I think when the uh, problem comes, you simply deal with it. So sometimes we think that, maybe a worse problem can come in our situation. How do we deal with that? And we sometimes
Hmm.
say that I don't think so, I can deal with this problem. But when it actually comes, and in my
Hmm.
case, it came. So
Hmm.
after 6 months, I came to know
Hmm.
about this. So I had to spend more 6 months. So almost like a year will go in this for this injury,
Hmm.
right? Whereas
Hmm.
it's not so critical. So I think for me that really worked. And honestly, sir, if I say, in India we are born to be winners. As you are born, you started your race, and you have to be a winner in that. So
Yes.
nobody talks about that. How do we like prepare ourselves when we fail, or how do we,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
right,
We are always taught to succeed. We are never taught how to fail.
yeah.
You're right.
So nobody talks about the failures. So nobody taught me that when you get an injury, and it's gonna maybe take 2-3 years of your
Hmm.
life, of your, I mean, cricketing career. What do you
Hmm.
do with that?
Hmm.
In,
Hmm.
like, still in India, I don't know about other
Hmm.
countries, but in India, if a sports person is taking a help from a psychiatrist, then that sports person is called a very weak sports person. Yeah, I was taking, because I was mentally very drained. I couldn't handle myself, and I don't usually talk. I'm not much of an expressive person, so I couldn't talk with my family. Also, my family background is not sports, so they slightly, maybe, they won't understand, or they won't connect with me. So I thought that
Yes.
why not, I'll take a help from a sports psychiatrist. So when I talked to my, maybe my coach supported me.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but my cricketing friends,
Hmm.
I mean, my cricketer friends,
Hmm.
they said me that, "Arey, this is not how you deal with it.
Oh.
You're very weak.
Oh.
You should be a strong sports person." But yeah, I mean, getting back to that question, when you start your destination, nobody teaches you the consequences, that what you're gonna face,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So the same, I think, works for me, and I think we are experts in that. All the
Yeah.
Indians are very experts in that.
Right.
That we fall into that thing, and then we, find the questions that how
Uh,
to deal with this.
yes. Yes. We find a way. Actually, we sort it out somehow.
Yes.
We don't know. Like, we know that we will get some struggle somewhere,
Yes.
and we would sort it out. So it is like we'll cross the bridge when we come to it.
Hmm. Yeah.
We are those kind of people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another interesting thing in your life. You are perhaps the only cricketer, women cricketer, and cricketer, of course, who approached us for communication. Let's talk about that journey. And it was quite interesting when you came to us, because you would remember it that generally we take people who have a lot of experience. Okay, they are working professionals. We take experienced working professionals, and you are definitely the youngest one among them, and you really have progressed by leaps and bounds, Nandita, I would say. But tell me, what inspired you to take this journey of communication? Why did you want to be a communicator, being a sports person? Do you think that you needed it, or do you think that it was in you that you wanted to be a good orator, a good communicator?
I think communication is something that really attracts me a lot. So not only English, but yeah, talking about a lot of languages. I'm very much, passionate about knowing languages. And as a sports person, I feel it's very important to be a good communicator. So
Hmm.
that will help you to connect with your teammates, different opponent teammates, and also like in the interviews. So I think this is like not only for a sports person, but also for a normal human being. I mean, communication is something that we are living for, right? Like right now we are talking.
Hmm.
So communication is very
Hmm.
powerful, what I feel, in anyone's life.
Yes,
So if I don't connect with
absolutely.
someone, or if I can't be a good communicator and talk to someone, then I think it's just waste of time for the other person. I don't know. It's just I am very passionate about this thing, and I want to be the best communicator, in my life.
You definitely will become one.
Yes.
And you have really started very well. So I personally believe that this art of communication in India is a little underrated. We don't give that much of importance to communication in our schools, colleges, and all that. I wish they gave it actually, but we don't give. I think so. Talking about your experience in Profluent. The program that we have, how has been your experience, and how do you think that how you have evolved yourself into a good communicator now? So what is your experience? Please tell us something about that.
So if I, in one word, if I explain, then it's outstanding. Yeah, and I was actually desperately looking for, a platform where I can connect with people and especially with the mentor. So I've tried a lot of communities, but it didn't really help me. But when I met you guys, so basically I was just scrolling the reels, and then I saw your reel. I don't know, somehow I connected, and I thought maybe this is something I'm looking forward, and I should maybe just talk to them once. So yeah, the journey has been outstanding, and definitely, sir, you have been, yeah, you are just not my English mentor, but also like my life mentor. You have always been there for me. You know my journey very well. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
your some of
Thank
your
you so much.
words are still there. I still remember, and that really motivates me every day.
I remember that there had been tough times that you have gone through, Nandita. And you are one person that who would sometimes you would be in that uh, tough corner. You would be there in that tight corner, and you would give me a message that can we have a session. And especially when you were diagnosed recently,
Yes, sir.
I felt like just talking to you. So that day, perhaps we did not talk about English at all. We talked about life, and
Yeah.
we talked about that how to overcome that and how to. And you really implemented all that beautifully in your life. It's really pleasure to have you, Nandita, inside the community. I must say, you are a wonderful girl, and you will do wonderfully well in your life.
Thank you, sir.
That I can assure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yes,
talking
you
about
are
the
safe.
team, everyone in this community, they are simply very beautiful human beings. Like I was, if you remember, I was telling you that I don't want to enter the talk rooms because I'm awkward.
You were,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but right after
Yes,
the
yes, because you said I'm not very expressive. How will I deal with
yes,
people and
yes,
all
yes,
that?
yes. So
Yes,
it was very
yes,
difficult for
yeah.
me to come out and talk in front of a lot of people. But Namika ma'am,
Right.
she's a wonderful human being. How she takes the classes and everything, it's like outstanding simply. And also the people in our team, like right after my
Yes.
one session, I got very comfortable, and I really wanted to
Right.
attend the talk rooms.
No, that actually is the reason that we generally talk to people first and then we give them access to the community so that we have like-minded people inside the community. So we mentor, as you know, very small number of people, but whosoever are there, they are all wonderful people. We feel blessed actually we have such a wonderful community here inside. Okay, one tough question. We do a lot of things. We do one-on-one, we do talk rooms. We have these Saturday sessions also, Inner Circle Mastermind. Which is your favorite? And why?
Okay. So one to one first, because it's
Okay.
with you and I have really connected with you, I think. So it really helps me. I think the confidence what you give me, that is the most
Mm,
important thing
mm,
I feel.
mm.
Then comes the videos. I think that really helped me a lot to actually come out. And the third is the talk rooms. So the
Documents.
talk rooms is
Right.
basically I didn't attend much of the talk rooms. So
Mm,
I
mm,
wouldn't judge on
mm.
that. But yeah, first it's like with you, and then the one to one, and then the talk room.
Great.
Yeah.
Uh, if you have to give one advice to the young girls in India who want to pursue sports as a career, so it can be cricket or any sports, what advice would you give to them?
Do it. Just passionately do it.
Ah.
Yeah, if you have
Right.
passion, just go for it. Do it and keep playing. Storms will come, but just keep playing.
And what about the parents? What advice would you give to parents?
So parents, I feel yes, it's really tough to let your child pursue sports as a career, because sports does not give us any guarantee. Today I'm playing, I don't know in next 5 years whether I'll play for India or not. So there is no such guarantee. But I think passion is very important than anything else, because we are lacking on passion. Like people are not passionate about their jobs. So yes, I think that is very important. The ultimate goal is to stay happy, not to stay stressed, right?
Right.
Yeah, so if someone is doing passionately, they are more happy.
Mm.
So I think that's very important for the parents to understand.
Absolutely. If you have to sum up your life and you have to find out two, three lessons from it, and you want to give it to our viewers, so what those lessons would be?
Good question. Okay, so I like to everyone.
Yeah, yeah. To anyone that you can give this advice, the life is yours, and what you have learned from your life. So maybe that it will apply to others as well.
Okay, so the first thing, I think, enjoy the process. Whatever it is, just enjoy. That's the main goal. Believe in yourself, which is very important. People will come, people will criticize you, people will make you feel shit, but you just believe in yourself and keep going. The third thing is, I think, never give up. Smart working and hard working will take you somewhere someday. So,
Great,
yes.
great. Thank you so much, Nandita. It was really a wonderful conversation with you. I also learned a lot actually from your answers, the mature answers that you gave. And having a mature head over such young shoulders is really a blessing in itself. And that you have got enough. I must say that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. My
Thanks a lot.
pleasure.
Thanks a lot. It was pleasure to have you here. We'll definitely call you once again some next time, and we'll have a long conversation on some other. Okay. Thanks for coming on the show. So here was Nandita, and I personally believe that because I learned a lot from the conversation with her. So one thing that I've learned is it doesn't matter, number one, how old or how young you are. What matters is that how closely you have understood life. And if you really want to go close to life, take some challenges in life. Why Nandita could understand life so better and she could learn so much faster was because she took the challenges head on. Most of the time we want to avoid them. So instead of avoiding challenges, take them on, enjoy your life, and of course you're going to live it anyways. And as they say it, you only live once. But if you live it correctly, one is enough. That is the life that Nandita is living. And that's the life that we all want to live. So this was Nandita on 1% Show podcast in this episode. In the next episode, we'll have another guest. Till then, that's all from my side. Bye-bye. Take care.